I want to do one last YouTube today. I'm getting tired, and Mike says his arm is getting tired from holding up his camera. So I think this is the last YouTube for today. I think, what do we have, the 25th of April, or 25th of April? Which means you're going to see this YouTube maybe in October? I don't know, probably. Mike's nodding his head. So this used to be the old Big Daddy, and this is the new Big Daddy, or Big Daddy Super Plus. This instrument I played in an earlier CD, YouTube, and told you this is the trumpet that I sold and couldn't sell. Somebody offered me $4,000 for it, and I couldn't sell it to him, even used, because it was made by Mr. Heinz Poggense, one of his last, actually not one of his last, but one of his best trumpets. It has a French bead here. It has Bauer-Feind valves that you can't buy anymore, and the ferrules are hand turned, and it's really the cat's meow. And I wanted to play something on it just to zazz a little bit and talk a little bit about air, and as I said in the last YouTube, about air volume and sound. So let's see what I can get out of this horn now. A big trumpet like this might not necessarily, because it's heavy, be a large bore, but it has a lot of substance of sound. And that high G that I play doesn't sound like a high G when somebody's playing a very small mouthpiece and a very tight back bore and a very shrill trumpet. It's a big sound. It's a high G, a sounding F. Here, if you look here right in the music, you can see what I just played. This is an arrangement that I had done from a friend of mine, a Canadian saxophonist, for brass quintet and trumpet. Actually, it was brass quintet with trumpet, which means it's a quartet with solo trumpet. But it's kind of funny because I very much like to play this on smaller trumpets, but usually you hear it with a mute, like for example this mute. And so, but the mute really falsifies the sound and usually creates a lot of intonation problems. And it's a nice effect, but we're talking here about an open trumpet, I think, sounds better than anything else. Talking a little bit about the air volume and using the air movement and air pressure from the stomach muscles, you can see that when I play this one part of this, there's an interval that goes between the E flat and the A in bar 8 here in the second beat. And you can see, watch here, Mike, here, close up on my stomach. So I'm not doing this with my embouchure, I'm doing with the air pressure directed. Did you see that, Mike? Yeah. You can see how the stomach muscles contract to increase the pressure to make the jump. Okay, now this is important because if I use that extra pressure when I go up that way, even jumping an interval like that, then I counteract the pressure from the mouthpiece that I need to play the higher note with more pressure from the air. Then the note comes and the tone doesn't suffer. The embouchure doesn't get tired, and I can continue to do that. But when you get into the strain high register, you want to keep the throat open as much as possible and do everything for the body. So I'm going to go to the next dramatic part of this Flight of the Bumblebee, starting here, and try to play through to here. Okay, I didn't make it through as much as I wanted to, but this trumpet takes a little more air than I expected. That's why I like a little smaller trumpet for this kind of thing. And with the mute, it's a lot easier also because there's more resistance. But I think you could you see the dramatics of that? I'm going to do it once again a little bit slower, even if I don't get through the whole phrase. And so the idea is to maintain an equilibrium from the pressure from outside, from the pressure from inside. Well, one thing is for sure, sooner or later, if there's a fight between how much stomach muscles you have compared to how much lip muscles you have, the stomach muscles will win. I mean, they're a hell of a lot bigger than your lips, and it makes more sense that way. But it's not a question of fighting one against the other. It's combining the coordination of one with the other to maintain the airflow and to maintain the equilibrium between the pressure. So that when I can play that high F. That's an E. And you can hear that I couldn't have used too much pressure by the high note, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to play the lower notes and the notes afterwards. And it wasn't this cutting, typical, acidic, toxic, big band, aggressive sound. It was a full sound. And from the very beginning, I have to make sure that I have enough air volume in the lung so that there's compression that starts from the stomach muscles with the throat open so the high note comes without me having a stroke. So please, when you try to play high notes on the trumpet or develop your higher register, always play down into the low register and control the embouchure and control the airflow and control the tonal quality to compare. If you're using too much pressure in the high register, you won't be able to play in the low register with tone, center, and quality. And so it's very necessary for you to understand that. And also, the more air you take into your lungs, the more resonance you have of the air in your lungs. It's like you have, this is a resonator, and your whole body, all your lungs and your chest cavity is also a resonator. This is also making your specific sound. So, now, when you get to be 65, you're not going to try to play notes you can't play. That's stupid. And you're not going to force things that you can't control because you'll hurt yourself. So, try to understand that there's no point in trying to play a note higher than you can play with control and with tonal quality. Getting tired is part of the whole thing. Of course you're going to get tired. But it's not the lips that should get tired first. What's really tired? I have actually a pain in my stomach. Pains here because they're tired. The muscles have been working so hard here. The stomach muscles, not the lip muscles. I don't have any pain in my lip muscles. And they're not swollen either. Because it's not as if I'm punching myself with the mouthpiece in the lip. I'm working so much with the muscles in my stomach that they're tired now. And so often one sees a trumpet player or a man in his best years with a very, very strong stomach apparatus here. I mean, if you're down here and fat like that, or got fat legs or whatever, that's fat. This is not fat. This is power. I'm 112 kilos, and there's maybe about 5, 6 kilos of fat that I have on my body. It's mostly here, certainly not here. So don't let anybody tell you, because as a man, you're not allowed to have a stomach. Otherwise, who the hell would ever want to drink a beer? I like beer. I don't drink that much of it anymore, but because I don't like being drunk. But tastes good, and it's great with German sausage and Weisswurst if you're in Bavaria. So once again, use your stomach muscles to counteract the pressure of the mouthpiece. With Clark, with chromatic scales, the best example is this with Rimsky-Korsakov's Flight of the Bumblebee. Okay, so I think that's all the YouTubes I'm going to do this spring, because I want to play some baseball, kick the trumpet under the bed for a month or so. I got better things to do. But I hope you enjoyed this, and by the time you're starting to hear this YouTube, I will be approaching my retirement here in Germany, and might stay here, might go back to Canada, buy a boat. That's what I plan to do. Might buy one in the Adriatic. It's really great. But remember, if you can, make sure you get your Impfung gegen Corona, so we can travel around and get back to our lives again, do concerts, enjoy our lives. Thanks for tuning in to The Man with the Horn. And please write to me. And as I say, I give away free CDs to anybody that's interested. Let me just pan up here for a second, see if I got one. This has Rhapsody in Blue. It has Harry James, Blues and Cantabile with my brass quintet. St. James Infirmary with Munich brass. Burma Sextet, Burma Russian Dance with the Russian brass quintet. Victor Ewald with the German brass, original German brass quintet. Second movement. I'm playing first trumpet. If you're interested, it's called Music for the Trumpet, Volume 1. There's also a Volume 2 and 3 if you're interested. And just write to me and I'll send one off to you. Richard Carson Steuart, The Man with the Horns.